All right, y'all. Here we go. This is we'll call this the Mark podcast for today. Still haven't come up with a name, but we're kind of working on that. Brand new to this, still working, figuring out the equipment. I've had a lot going on. Pretty much, I've been focusing on TikTok, but TikTok. I'll be honest with you. I've got roughly 42,000 followers, and there's just not the money on TikTok that I expected. And I'm not doing this just for money. This is actually something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've always wanted to be on radio, and I guess this is the easiest way to get there. Just pretty much starting with a podcast. That's what I'm trying to do, just to kind of fill you in. And with that said, not spending too much time, I'll go back over kind of the backstory, explain a little bit about myself, and you'll learn about me as the podcast continues. But we'll get right into it. What I wanted to discuss and kind of the topic of the day is those crazy Super Bowl prices. Yesterday, whenever I was driving, I overheard a radio show, or I was listening more or less. I was kind of going back and forth between radio stations. But whenever I was tuning into one here, I live in Orlando, or outside of Orlando in Claremont. One was discussing actually the prices of the Super Bowl. And I'll be honest with you, I was shocked. They were talking about how Super Bowl one, the prices were $1 per ticket. And, there's inflation. I get it. Um, there's, everything seems so expensive these days. I mean, and it just seemed to happen all at once. It went from, maybe it's just because, the older you get, the more bills you have. Or at least that's kind of, in my life, kind of how it seems to be. I'm 36 years old, and it's just like every single year, it's like I add two or three more bills to, the already, humongous stack of bills, that you just have from life. I mean, not just rent. You start getting credit cards. The son's born. You start having children. My wife and I, we're working on child number two. So there we go. That's another expense that's gonna be popping up. And whenever these other expenses pop up, you've got to delegate where your money goes, especially if, your income staying relatively, idle where it's at, which, I mean, we make a decent living, but, whenever your income stays idle, the prices keep going up. And that's why these Super Bowl prices just really kind of, blew my mind. We're talking about, okay, the prices this year to go to the Super Bowl, and this is going to show you how much I know. I'm not a big football fan, but I do find the prices of things, the whole, just the whole NFL is just kind of fascinating to me. Just that, I mean, it's turned into such a big business. And there's a movie that you can watch, and it shows it's a fictionalized movie. I can't remember the name of it to save my life, or it's Leatherheads, or I'm pretty sure it's called Leatherheads. It's with George Clooney, one of the actors from The Office. I can't remember the tall guy, handsome-looking guy. He's in it too. Renee Zellweger also, but it shows kind of everything used to be so, people would get dressed up to go to football games. Now it's everybody in their football t-shirt, and that just kind of shows where our society is going. Nobody dresses up for things anymore. And I'm sorry, if you're paying minimum $7,000 for a Super Bowl ticket, come on. $7,000 minimum. So you figure you're not going to go by yourself. You're going to bring a friend or two. You're going to bring a date, your wife, your girlfriend. So we're talking about $14,000 minimum to go to the Super Bowl. And that's not including the souvenirs you're going to want to have. You're going to have to buy some souvenirs. There's no way around that. Not only that, you're going to have to get a hot dog. You're going to have to get, you're going to want to, if you go to the Super Bowl, if you've made it to that point in life where you can afford to make it to the Super Bowl, you might as well go ahead and have the full experience, I guess. I mean, I know I would. If I'm going, if I'm going out of state to see a football game and I'm paying that kind of money, I'm definitely going to go through, and try to get the most out of it. I mean, right? But anywhere between $7,000 and $72,000 is where those prices were at this year for the Super Bowl. And I mean, that's great and all, But I mean, could you imagine? I mean, I'm assuming that probably most of my listeners, not to judge anybody. I mean, we all do well for ourselves, but to come out and to say that you're going to spend $72,000, that's for. I'm assuming the way it was explained over the radio that the tickets cost between $7,000 and $72,000 per piece per ticket. Just let that sink in for a second. Think about that. My truck. Okay, I've got a 2007 F-150 I bought 2 years ago. It cost me $7,500. That Super Bowl ticket is the same price for one ticket as what I spent for my transportation. $7,000. I mean, I guess I'm not even getting $7,000 back on my taxes with a child. So I guess, I just look at all the places that money could go other than a football game. And here's the thing, with anything you spend money on in life, unless you buy something from Walmart or Target or Amazon, you can always return those things. This is, it's like going to Disney World. Once that money's gone, you're not getting that money back. $7,000. 7,000. And that money's, you're never going to see that money again. I could think of a lot of ways that I'd rather spend the money, but okay, let's move on from the Super Bowl prices. I think if you want to comment in the comment section, please remember to subscribe. Like, I'm trying to build up my subscribers. I know my content isn't great. I've pretty much just been transferring content from TikTok onto YouTube, just trying to build a little bit of a base because I have been somewhat successful on TikTok. I've got a 22.4 million view video. I've got another 8 million view video, another 4 or 5 million view video, and then a handful of one plus million view videos. But the transition, let me tell y'all, for anybody who doesn't know, trying to get on YouTube is rough. Or trying to get a following on, having quality material, and that's what I'm trying to present. Because I watch a whole bunch. I watch the Tuttle Daily podcast rather frequently. And he's somebody that I've been trying to honestly emulate. And if anybody doesn't, follow Tuttle, you should go on and show him support. He tries. Let me tell you something. You want to talk about a man who tries? Tuttle literally does an hour-long podcast pretty much almost every single day. He's on episode 700. Or I might, if Tuttle hears this, which I'd greatly enjoy to hear the critiques from Tuttle. I mean, this is my first episode. But I know how rough it is to get a following. I mean, it's tough, and I used to look at it like, oh my God, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. No, I'm sorry. Not anybody can do it. You've got to have you've got to have a drive. You've got to sit there, and you've got to be consistent, and that's what Tuttle's done. He's been consistent, and Tuttle's well known. Let me tell you something. Tuttle's well known around Orlando. I remember listening to Tuttle on, what I'd like to call the big boy radio station around here in Orlando, 104.1. And he used to be the funny guy. I mean, Tuttle was so funny. But then he got, not going to put his business out there. If you care to learn more about Tuttle's story, feel free to listen, subscribe to him, listen to his podcast. But Tuttle got kicked off, or not, because of an incident that he had with Russ Rollins. And Russ Rollins on 104.1 runs Monsters in the Morning. That's a serious radio show. That's where I emulate, or what I want to, eventually, where I want to be is at that point, or at least have that, be in that market. Because they have the same kind of sense of humor. I know right now I'm doing this by myself. It's kind of hard to joke whenever, you're sitting here. I'm not a trained stand-up comic. I like dad jokes, or I have dad jokes. I mean, that's where we're at. But let me roll on into this. I kind of got off topic there. So I started 2 days ago. We recently moved, and years ago I used to do Postmates. Well, I was curious because we recently moved back to Claremont. I was just curious to, get on Postmates. I made a decent amount of extra, spending cash. There's nothing wrong with going out there. And let me tell you, Uber's an easy, fun way to do it. It used to be Postmates, but they, I guess, Postmates was bought out by Uber, and now they're part of Uber Eats. But I applied for Uber. I never used it before, but I said, you know what, this past Saturday, let me go ahead here. I'm going to give it a shot. Let me see what kind of money I can make. You know, gas is going up, so God knows, my 2007 Ford F-150, that thing, it's got the V8 Triton in it. Oh, Jesus Christ, it gets like 8 miles to 10 miles of the gallon, and it costs, I put 75 in it the other day, and the tank, or the fuel pump shut off at 75. I'm not sure if that's a big thing that's going on around here now. I know I think a lot of pumps cut off at about $100, but 75 I'm not sure about. But 75 essentially got me from, where was I at? I had I want to say I had a quarter of a tank, and $75 got me almost to full. Kind of give you an idea of how much my truck costs. But long story short, or getting into the story, because I know I'm kind of bouncing around here. Yesterday I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try to make some of this Super Bowl Uber money. Let's see what we can do. So I told my wife, I'm like, you know what, here, I'm going to turn my Uber on. I'm going to go up to one of these hotspots, because I turned it on at my house, wasn't getting anything. But about 2 miles away, there was what we'll call like an Uber hotspot. So I drive over, and I'm in my truck. I normally use my wife's Cadillac. It's a lot better, gas mileage, a lot more fuel efficient. I've been using, I've only been doing it for 2 days. I had been using Saturday, my wife's Cadillac. Well, I decided to use my truck. My truck had a full tank of gas in it, and I said, why not? I'm going to use my truck. I love driving my truck around. It's big, it's manly, it's got the big tires on it, which is not great whenever you're delivering for Uber, so we'll go ahead and put that out there. It's a stupid idea. I probably look stupid as hell especially for one of the orders I pulled up to, this woman standing outside, and she's looking at me like, you're delivering in that thing? Like, my truck is a tank. It really is. But so I go and I pick up one order from Taco Bell. I'm like, oh my God, it's like a $12 order. This is great. Decent money, $12. And I didn't think it was going to be that far away, because I'm still learning the system. I didn't realize that it actually showed a little map to where, you can see where you're going before you actually accept the order. Well, I didn't realize that. Well, I got 2 orders. I went to Taco Bell. Another order popped up for McAllister's. And I'm like, great. And that order for McAllister's said another $13. I didn't look where that order was going. And sure enough, in my truck, I get stuck going from Claremont, Florida, to give you an idea, Claremont, Florida, over by Disney World to Windermere. It was a good 30, 40-minute ride. And that's for McAllister's. And here's the thing. I find it hard, and I could Google it, I know. I find it hard to believe that there is not a McAllister's over there by Disney World closer or something similar. But this person had to have McAllister's Deli. And all it was, it was a sub and their pure cane lemonade, which did look delicious. Don't get me wrong. That pure cane lemonade gets me all the time. I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, the kind of southern little bit of twang, which I'm trying to cut out. Everybody says you kind of got to cut the accent out. I want to keep a little bit of it. It's kind of like a catch-22. I want to keep a little bit of it. It keeps me unique. But at the same point, it's like, I had people in high school. I moved from South Carolina my senior year down to Celebration, Florida, which is where I graduated high school. And I had one teacher in particular. I'm thinking that she just didn't like me. I don't know why. She wasn't even really my teacher. She was like a senior project, so she kind of oversaw the group of seniors. So she knew a little bit about me. But let me tell you, this woman, she wanted me to get rid of my accent. And my mom, if you want to talk about an upset mother, and I was a senior in high school. I could take care of myself, or at least I thought I could. My mother turned into Southern mama just from hell. And what ended up happening was she went down to the school and confronted this teacher and pretty much said, that the Southern dialect is one that is more well known than essentially other languages. Now, whether or not that is true, I do not know. I'm assuming she got that from somewhere, but more or less, I mean, should I try to tone the accent down, keep the accent, or is it not even that noticeable anymore? Because I've been down here long enough to where I can tell that I've lost it, or at least lost a little bit of it, because it's only on certain words that I say that the Southern twang does come out. And I'm honestly a little bit proud of it. I drive a big truck. My style is kind of, if you're watching my podcast, my style is kind of punk rock. And I know 36, I should probably be dressing more like an adult. I've been down that road. Believe it or not, I'm actually an ex-airline pilot. So I've had the professional career where you've had to get up every single day. I flight instructed for 2 years to build my flight time up out of the Kissimmee Airport. I had to wear a tie every day. I had to obviously wear a tie whenever I flew. Well, I flew for Transstates, which is United Express, U.S. Airways Express, and American Connection. I believe they just recently went out of business. They're one of the regional carriers. They flew 50-seat regional jets. But, yeah. So, long story short, I got sucked into this Uber trip. And next thing you know, what I thought was going to end up being maybe 30, 45 minutes. I just wanted to do a run or two. Ended up turning into about an hour and 45 minutes. And miles on my truck, and the biggest thing is gas, because this is dollars and cents. I'm not going out to run Uber runs to break even. Sorry. I'm not going out there. I'm not trying to take somebody their food and volunteer my time to do that. That's not what I'm trying to do. And I don't think anybody out there running Uber or delivering any people their food is out there doing it for their health or because they particularly think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm sure. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. I personally, for a little bit of extra money, it's fun. Get to go out, listen to music. I took on Saturday, I actually took my 18-month-old son with me, and y'all might be thinking, like, well, how did that work out? Well, I took him in the restaurant with me to pick up the food. And from there, after we picked up the food, we'd go, obviously, listen to music. I'm talking to him. He's sitting in his car seat. He was just having a good old time. And I'd run up to the door, take the picture of the food whenever I dropped it off because it's, contactless. Take my picture, boom, on my way. So essentially, it gets him out of the house too. And, going inside of restaurants, seeing other people, that's great because, more or less, I mean, a lot of my son's childhood, because he's had seizures. I wouldn't say he's been sheltered, but he's also our first child. We're learning as we go as parents. I think there's no handbook on being a parent. There's no handbook. And if somebody, I know there's books out there and everybody has their way. And if you want to get pissed off quick, I'll tell you what you do as a parent. Go on TikTok and just post like a video of your child, like just of something you do that might not be necessarily the norm or the way that everybody should think. I posted a video and everybody was mad at me for the career bite. Here's the thing, is my son is very loved, always safe. He is never in an unsafe environment. I can tell you that right now. He is never going to be in an unsafe environment. And if he is in an unsafe environment, Dad's going to be there. His dad's going to be there, me, to take care of whatever that situation may be. Because nobody messes with my child. And that's just what I think is being a good parent. That's where I think I'm going to wrap it up today. I know I kind of jumped all over the place. Like I said, please bear with me. This is my first podcast. I'm just trying to kind of get my name out there. My name is Mark Treese. And I'm just trying to get my name out there, just have some fun with this. We're going to have some fun topics. I'm going to have my wife on. She's going to kind of be my co-anchor. Right now, we've got so much going on. She's actually going to nail school. She's working a full-time job. So she goes Monday through Friday right now to nail tech school. And that's from roughly 7:45 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, until 1:30, 1:25, 1:30, whatever, in the afternoon. So she's gone for, half the day. Then she comes back comes back home and works while I watch the son. I'm more or less the stay-at-home dad because I don't know when daycare got so expensive, but daycare would be if I went out and any normal job, daycare, you're going to spend a week at least paycheck out of the month to pay for daycare. And that it's just crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me, the cost of daycare, how people can actually afford it. And here's another thing. The daycare, we sent Riker to a daycare back, he went to daycare for about 6 months. And the daycare you couldn't bring your child until 7 o'clock. Well, let me tell you something. There's conflict there because I had to be at work at 7. So how does that work out? Paying all this money. Paying all this money. And you can't even take your child and drop them off at a reasonable... there's a whole bunch of... we could argue about this all day long. We could go back and forth about, 7 o'clock is a reasonable time, is not. But I think, a lot of people start work at 7 or before 7. So I was running late to work constantly just trying to drop them off. Here's another thing. If you're late, you have to pick them up by 5 o'clock. If you're not there by 5, it was $1 a minute. Those dollars can add up. Those dollars can add up quick. Well, anyways, I hope y'all have a good day. My name is Mark. This is going to get a little more professional as it goes along. Like I said, I just kind of wanted to get my feet in the water. Been putting this off for pretty much since the beginning of the year because we had a big move. We got COVID for the second time, which wasn't fun. And we just got over an upper respiratory infection, all of us, and some of our family members. So we've been having a lot of fun, but I hope all you guys here in Orlando or wherever you may be having a great day. I look forward to seeing you back here, and please stay safe, y'all. Okay, take care.